as we're talking Birds football, man. It's that time of year, Dave Klemick.
I'm excited.
You smell that wet, fresh cut grass. You ready? Does that get you excited, man?
It's nice to be needed. It's nice to be wanted at a time when I can speak intelligently on something that I think I know pretty well. That and
so when we start talking baseball, Josh, he kicks his feet up on the desk and he puts his feet up and lays back in his chair.
My only baseball knowledge is when Tommy Green talks. That's how I learned baseball.
Right. Hey, our first guest, man, he's in the history books forever. They'll be talking about him years and years in the future, man. Eagles football lore. Let's go to the Toms River Volkswagen Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room former Eagles wide receiver Freddie Mitchell. FredEx. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning, fellas. Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing all right. I got my Kelly Green Eagles shirt on, Fred. My 97-3 Eagles, Kelly Green. We're pumped up. I'm in a 3-point stance. Yeah, I love this time of year, Fred. Doesn't it get you excited, man? Like beginning of July, middle of July.
You know what's so funny, and I think Dave can speak to everything too. This time I just start working out for no reason, like getting, and I think it's become a disease with me because I'm every year I'm getting ready for Lehigh. And my people are like, why are you working out so hard? I mean, it's ingrained in my skull when football season is, and I've been doing that ever since I retired.
Hey, Fred, I'm looking at your bio and everything, and what I noticed, my brother has a son playing football at Ocean City, and we talked to him, but I says 4-sport athlete. You don't see that anymore. Like you played 4 sports in high school. Nowadays, the kids they specialize. You might be lucky if you get a bunch of kids playing 2 sports. You were a 4-sport athlete. You don't see that anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's a bad thing. I really do because a lot of these kids are getting burnt out.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I never got burnt out. And then the good thing, that was the good thing. But the bad thing about it is you never got to perfect one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. But I mean, I just enjoyed playing sports. I got drafted in baseball to the major leagues, and I played with Chase Utley at UCLA and backed him up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I love sports. We won the state championship. I played against Tracy McGrady in high school. So, I mean, I was a Florida boy. Yeah, there's a lot of sports involved.
Yeah. Hey, so when I told Dave Klemick that I was going to have you on, he told me a story about you at the camp, and I'm going to let him tell it. I was like, it just goes to show you. It showed me of your athleticism, Dave. I just couldn't believe it.
Freddie, what's up, man? We've hung out a couple times and down in CIL, probably at the Princeton, rocking out some country music together. It was great to talk to you, bro.
You're a fraternity. You're a brother. Man. It's a brotherhood, brother.
And,
yes.
And Fred, now remember, I'm going to take you back. 2001 NFL Combine. I'm there with you, right? Remember our shirts. Mine said WO24, Wideout 24.
Yep. Mine was WO47. Go ahead.
So we're just that's how we're graded,
Right.
So we're all out there, and I'm competing with him. He's competing with me. We're all kind of like in competition to each other. We're like, this is helping our draft stock and everything. And I'm watching Fred he's starting to tear it up now. Like he's 40-inch on the vertical. 4.4 and a 40. He's already and I already had a ton of respect for him. He broke his femur in a game the year his junior year. I'm like, I'm falling in love with this guy. I'm starting to be his biggest fan. Fred, remember we did that drill where you run right down the middle of the field and the quarterbacks throw the ball.
All right, the quarterbacks.
Yes, sir.
First 3 quarterbacks: Michael Vick, Drew Brees, Chris Weinke were the first 3 quarterbacks, right? So Fred, now I'm doing this drill. Now, this drill is hard. You catch left, drop it. Catch right, drop it. Catch left, drop it. You run right down the middle of the field. I mean, there's 5 or 10 quarterbacks.
And they're throwing darts.
They're throwing darts, right?
Right.
Fred, if you don't remember this, Fred not only catches the ball, but then behind his back flicks it to the quarterback that threw it to him. And the first 3 guys caught it. And I go, that guy's incredible. He's going to the first round. Wherever he was, his draft stock just changed. He went Hollywood on everybody. We were all looking at each other, jumping up and down like he just got a 10 in a dunk contest. We were like, oh my God. Fred, do you remember that?
I vividly remember that. And the funniest thing about that whole time, none of the star receivers ran. And I was like, well, the big guy, Santana Moss, all the big guys, they didn't run. They didn't run the 40s. So when we ran the 40s, everybody clapped for us. The GMs, the owners, they were clapping. It was just that draft class. I mean, Hall of Fame, college and NFL players. I mean, it was the best draft ever. And I love that drill. And it was funny. You know who did that drill? David Culley was the one that did that drill that you talked about.
Yeah, I couldn't believe you. Well, like, that was the most swag I've ever seen. And if you met Freddie, he's got a Hollywood personality. Before I knew that was his nickname, I go, well, that kid's going to be an actor. Like, I don't, and I'm going, and I'm talking to him like we were best friends. Like, and that's how he is with everybody. And I'm going, my gosh, he left probably the most lasting impression. Also, Drew Brees, because he was so small. I couldn't believe that he was that tiny and throwing a ball like that. Remember how he just, his football IQ is just different, you know.
I mean, he whips it and everything else. But and that draft, it was crazy. You know, he was second round draft pick to the Chargers at the time. You know, we had so many just gifted athletes. The receiving crop was loaded. I mean, I'm sure, Dave, you can name off a lot of big names. Santana Moss.
Who is the other Miami receiver? He's in the Hall of Fame now. What the heck?
He got drafted after me. Reggie Wayne.
Reggie Wayne
got drafted. Well, guys went to the Seahawks. I mean, it's crazy.
LaDainian Tomlinson, Michael Vick.
Really?
Yeah. I remember meeting Michael Vick. So they'll come out with like this rankings list when you're on there, and they could show your 40 times where they expect you to land and everything. And Michael Vick was like, yeah, our agents introduced us to each other, and he's like, oh, you know who this guy is? He's like, he's a white dude, wide receiver. Like, I'm on the top of the list for 40 times. Fred, I couldn't run because I tore my hamstring in a professional track meet like 2 weeks before that. I ran in the New Balance. Yeah, I ran in the New Balance Invitational.
And Freddie, you know he beat Devontae Hall in the fastest man in Kansas City, right?
Dante.
Yeah.
Dante. You know, it's interesting too. I ended up going back to there in 2006, but Dave was gone by then.
Yeah.
But it was Dante Hall's fast, man. I know.
Yeah, he was.
I know.
Would you get his game check, Dave?
We bet game checks on it. Yeah, we all.
That's awesome.
That was fun. Fred, it was one other thing. Then when we were at that combine too, look at what it's turned into. Remember, it was just like there was no TVs and there was it was just us walking around, doctors poking at us and stuff like that, and running some drills. But now it's this huge TV event.
Yeah, it was sincerely a meat market when we played. Now they figured out how to monetize it, and it's become watered down, almost like, you know, the NFL game right now, the NFL game.
We're talking with former Eagles wide receiver Freddie Mitchell. Fred, talk to us about route running. How important is it for route running? I know sometimes these wide receivers have great athleticism, but they don't run great routes. How important is it for a wide receiver to be a great route runner?
I mean, it's the most important thing, because if you're not a good route runner, you know, your system's not going to help you, because it's going to be the DB going and picking it off every time. I mean, you're trying to help yourself here. You know, a lot of the rules have changed and stuff like that, and guys got a little lack of daisical on the routes. But I mean, if you give up any kind of hint to a DB, they already don't know what you're doing. So I mean, it's very, very important. And it's funny, I'll look at guys on the TV and stuff. I'm like, he's about ready to stop or whatever else. So, you know, DBs are smart. The DBs are the best athletes in the world.
Yeah. Well, they're starting to get paid like it now too. So, you know, it's just so funny. Like from when you played, how much the salaries have increased from when you played to now.
Oh, it makes me sick to my stomach. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
I mean, I understand how the game goes and everything else, but the contracts that they're getting now is just, it doesn't even, I don't even look at that. I'm like, well, if they're allowed to make that much money, how much are the owners making?
Right. Look at CeeDee Lamb in Dallas. He wants to be the highest paid wide receiver, or highest paid other than quarterback, right? Josh, he wants to be the.
You know what? I really do think his game is like that, and he should be, you know, on the top tier as that. But I mean, it's different when you know, you don't have a good system, you know. And I don't think the Dallas Cowboys system is really utilizing him like they should. I don't think, you know, the system was using A.J. Brown like they should have, you know. So I think that I think as long as the coaches and the upstairs understand, hey, we need to get out. We need to bring this guy his fullest potential and really throw him the ball.
Freddie, Kellen Moore, what do you think? You think he's going to be able to? Because last year's offense, the Eagles' offense, kind of dried up. There was no imagination. It was bland. You think this? You think he's going to be able to rejuvenate Jalen Hurts and the Eagles' offense this year? What do you say?
Yeah, I think the first 8 games, because nobody's really going to understand their offense, they'll do well. I think that you're not going to get the best play out of Smith or the other guy because AJ Brown, because they don't really understand the offense and they're not comfortable. There's a lot of motion in Kelly's offense, so it's just you got to be comfortable with things, and it puts the team in a hard position when you got a new defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator. So it's gonna be hard. It's definitely gonna be hard.
Hey, Freddie, let me ask you this question. So I always think chemistry is such a big component in the NFL because when teams winning, everything's kumbaya. Everybody's happy. But when a team starts going through a little adversity, how important it is to have a team that's all on the same page. The chemistry is good.
Yeah, you got to have a team. I mean, it's so important because it's a game of inches, and then and then you're putting the mental health aspect into it too. And if somebody's not doing their job or depressed or doing something else, that reflects on everything. And it's such and that's where a head coach like Andy Reid, he knows how to control that. He has a lot of wisdom and he has a lot of trial and error with that. So it plays a big difference.
Freddie, are you down at the NovaCare? Are you close with the Eagles, or you get to see them a lot?
I watch them, but I watch them from afar.
Okay.
They with the organization and stuff like that. I just let them do them, and I did what I needed to do. So I'm thankful for having that platform, and thankful for being an Eagle. It's 20 years, and I still get a lot of love every time I walk out the house. So it's pretty dope.
Yeah, I saw you at the, I think it was Ron Jaworski's event over there at Live. And, yeah, man, people coming up to you. And that 4th and 26, man, that's an Eagle lore. That'll never go away, man. Something you'll always have. And I was there at that game. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, well, I was blessed to actually have an opportunity to take advantage of, and it's different, when you can't call the plays for yourself, or you don't have the leverage where you're the big money guy.
Right.
So it's it was hard playing in Andy Reid's offense too, though, because his thing is predicated on 10 people catching the ball. So I'm like, damn, if you want 10 people to catch the ball, that's 2 balls a game. How many is that? That's not even a 30, 40 catch season. So it was. And then, the GM's leverage is, well, you only caught this much. I'm like, yeah, because your freaking head coach wants to spread the ball,
And that'll reflect on your money, right? I mean,
on my money, and then how society is. They just look at stats.
Right.
They don't see you going and blocking the linebacker and freeing Westbrook for a touchdown. They don't see none of that.
Well, Fred, I got to tell you, man, we appreciate you taking time on Saturday morning to talk a little football with us and go down memory lane. We'd like to have you back again during the season and talk some football with you. And stay well, and we'll do it again. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, Dave, I love that story. I'm going to have to sit there. I'm going to tell him to record it and send it to me because that's a great story.
Yeah.
Billy, thanks for having me back on, you know what I'm saying? And I need to go fishing. You guys know I go fishing a lot. So,
hey, my brother Bobby has a boat. We'll get you out on it.
Yes, y'all know my Instagram too. Any fishermen, take me out. FMitchell84.
All right, you got it, Freddie. All right, man. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.
All right, guys.
There he is, Freddie Mitchell on the Toms River Volkswagen Sports Hotline.